All right, Jeff, thank you so much for organizing this. Mark and Jamie, glad you guys could join us. So before we begin, I would like to introduce everybody. Let's just go around and introduce ourselves. My name is Singh. I am a professor and the director of the packaging program here at Cal Poly. Been here since 2003, and I have seen it grow tremendously. And I have two of my colleagues here with me, Dr. Saha and Irene. So I'll let them introduce themselves. Irene and I will be doing this presentation, which is about careers in packaging. So Irene, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Irene Carbonell, and I am a lecturer in the packaging program at Cal Poly. I joined Cal Poly in 2015, and I will be presenting some of the work that students perform in the design classes in our program, and also talk about the healthcare packaging specific course that we teach at Cal Poly.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Kaushik Saha. I am one of the professors here in our packaging program. I started here at Cal Poly in 2010. In addition to teaching various courses, I also assist with coordinating a packaging career fair here on our campus. Amongst many career fairs on Cal Poly, there is a specific career fair dedicated to packaging. And with that, today's presentation, you will see the link, how you can strive to have a career in packaging if you were to choose to do this degree program. Back to you, Jeff.
Jeff, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or they know you already. It might be good.
Probably not. So I'm Jeff Alexander, the Director of Outreach and Enrollment Services here at Cuesta. And my job is to provide opportunities such as this to inform all of our current or prospective students about opportunities as it relates to transferring to different programs.
We are appreciative of it, Jeff. It's a great opportunity for us to reach out to Cuesta College and the students therein. Jamie and Mark, if you want to introduce yourself real quick, if you are already at Cuesta, are you planning to go to Cuesta, and then what your transfer ambitions are?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie. I am a second year at Cuesta. I'm currently majoring in business, but I do have an interest in industrial technology. I have some family friends who've gone to Cal Poly and graduated with that major. So I do have some interest in it. I just don't know much about it, but I'm excited to learn.
Excellent. How about you, Mark?
Similar story. New here I've been here at Cal Poly for 2 years now. This is my second year, and graphic arts is my major. But I was kind of interested in what this was about, so I thought I'd come by and take a look at it and see what it is, because eventually I do plan on transferring to Cal Poly, but it sounded interesting.
Excellent. And Irene will bring up graphic arts during her slide presentation on student work, where we engage the various departments on campus. So let me begin. Irene, if you could proceed the slide deck. All right, so we have, what we call a distinct advantage. So Cal Poly, you guys, I don't need to sell Cal Poly to you. It's best in the West. That's just one of the many accolades it has, and it is a flagship campus for the CSU 23 university system. We are ranked at the top, and that's primarily because of our learn by doing and all the emphasis we provide to students on learning, with getting their hands dirty and learning from their mistakes. And then, of course, we are in a business college, so that's very unique. Industrial technology programs, there are a few that are in business college, but there's no packaging program in a business college, so that makes us very, very unique. And why business college, or why does it make us unique, or what is the advantage of being in a business college? If you think about any business, any packaging is a physical structure that takes your product to a consumer. right? And there is a lot of business. Everything is a business proposition. So you cannot teach packaging, which is mainly a science and technology discipline, without the peripherals that are business related. So being in a business school, we capitalize on that. And then, of course, we have the packaging program, which not only is uniquely placed in a business college, we are ranked #1 in the country. And this value ranking is based on the ROI. So, how much is the tuition and what our alumni make. It's the reputation of the program and the university. It's, as far as we know, the only unbiased ranking for packaging programs that has come out in recent years. So next, please. So this is the landscape. This is the American landscape. There's a few schools in Canada, but if you just talk about the US, these are the packaging programs in the country. And you can see them pretty densely populated on the East Coast and the Midwest. If you could imagine, the Mississippi River flowing, just left off the Wisconsin Stout program, which is the Blue Devils there, all the way to the bottom. We have more than 50% of the country that we serve. Not that the other programs don't send their alumni over everywhere, not just to the West Coast, but globally. But we have a very uniquely situated program, and we capitalize on that. That's the reason our students are in such high demand. San Jose State is the other packaging program. It's a smaller program than compared to us and not as diverse in the offerings. Next, please. So what makes our packaging program unique? We are very proud to say we are heavily invested in experiential packaging education. When we say that, it relates to every course we offer in packaging. It has a lab component and it has a project. So you cannot escape, putting the theory to test in a lab activity or, creating something through a project. So that's experiential packaging education that we take pride in. And we don't just concentrate on the regional or, national landscape. We focus on global landscape. So we are very aware of the ever-changing platform that packaging offers, going from outsourcing. 2 decades ago, outsourcing made big news. Things were coming here from China or Asia or Southern America. Now, if we have become numb to that, that's the new reality, right? So that doesn't mean there are no new things happening on the global platform. You have omni-channels. Omni-channel relates to, it's a term used for businesses that offer products online as well as physically, that brick and mortar store. Amazon buying out Whole Foods. What was the advantage for Amazon buying out Whole Foods? They got into a brick and mortar business. And what do those Whole Foods stores serve? They of course are retail stores for Amazon. But what they also serve as are what are called fulfillment centers. So you order something online from Whole Foods, very likely a local store in your region is going to ship that product to you. So that expands their reach. So that's what we focus on. We focus on not just what's here, what's current, but we look around the corner and see what's coming. And that's what we also bring into our curriculum. Next, please. So this is a short slide deck. We're going to go through it quickly. Anytime you have a question, just unmute and speak up. So we are, as Jamie mentioned, industrial technology is what the department was called. We call it area in the college here, but it's the same thing as a department. It used to be called industrial technology up until 2017. And then we decided, because packaging is a substantial part of industrial technology, so we decided to rename it Industrial Technology and Packaging. So as a student in the Industrial Technology and Packaging program, you have 2 tracks. You can go and become an Industrial Technology concentration student or a Packaging Technology concentration student. But there are packaging courses that both have to take, and those are what we call the core courses. So these are 4 core courses that all ITP majors have to take, regardless of what concentration they go into. So packaging fundamentals, this is our most impacted course. We have, we offer 6 to 7 sections of this through the year, and we have wait lists of 2025 every time we offer it. It's very popular. It also meets the general education area F, and that's changed requirement. ITP 341 relates to just understanding the organic chemistry and what is plastics, what are polymers, how are they processed into different usable forms that we use in packaging. ITP 409 relates to packaging machinery and processes, and we introduced ITP 411, packaging sustainability, 3 or 4 years ago, and it relates to, if you think about sustainability, it's so difficult to define it. Everybody can have an idea, everybody can define it different ways, but when it comes down to it, you need to quantify things, right? You cannot just have a metric that's very subjective. So what we teach in this course is something called life cycle assessment. And life cycle assessment provides you numbers, hard numbers on how much energy it takes to make something, and throughout its life cycle, including the end of life, recycling or landfill, whatever it may be. And also provides you a quantified value for greenhouse gases. So this is one of our newer courses in the program. These 4 courses, again, are taken by all ITP majors. Next, please. And if you select to take the packaging technology concentration, these are 6 courses that are required to achieve that concentration. We have ITP 234, which we introduced 3 years ago, I believe, Rene?
Yes.
3 years, right?
3 years.
So this is a course that we created at a 200 level. You'll notice we don't have too many 200 level courses. So this was introduced because designing is our design thinking, and design aspects are embedded in every course we offer. So we decided to create a course specific to all the software, all the activities that relate to packaging and design. We put it into this one course, and I'll show you how it flows in our curriculum. So once you take this, then we expand on it in different courses. ITP 408 is paper and paperboard based packaging, so any packaging based paper based packaging. 412 is an extension of ITP 341, where we teach the basics of plastics and polymers. Here we actually provide a few $100,000 worth of equipment for students to look at what's in a material. How does it breathe? How much oxygen can pass from one side to the other, etc. ITP 430 is healthcare packaging. It's very specialized, and for that matter, the jobs available in healthcare, you go work for a pharmaceutical or a medical device company. This course is very critical, and it's very unique. Most of the healthcare packaging positions are higher, above average salaries. ITP 475 is a course where we teach students what happens to a package with a product in it when it leaves, wherever it's being shipped from, to the point it reaches the point of destination. And the physical abuse, the shocks, the vibration, the compressions, changes in temperature and humidity, how does that impact the package's ability to protect the product? And then 485 is our capstone course. This is where we bring most of the things that we offer together, and we have students create packages towards a specific goal. Next, please. All right, so this is this is what we suggest to our.
I think, I'm sorry, I think you skipped one.
Yeah, I think you did too. Oh, there we go. And these are electives that we offer for packaging technology concentration students. So you can select these electives towards whatever direction you want to take. Packaging is a very broad industry. You could go and be in design, you could be in testing, you could be in sales, and you could be in various industry sectors. You could be in healthcare, food and beverage, you could be in aerospace. So depending on what your motivation is, what kind of career you want, we give you options here to select. If you want to go into food packaging business, FSN stands for Food Science and Nutrition. Packaging Function and Food Processing is a great course. We have Lean if you want to go work for an aerospace company or actually any company where everybody wants to have efficiencies. That's a great course. Operations Planning and Control, Packaging Quality. Cooperative education and internship. So we encourage all our students to take a 3 to 6 month, and sometimes they take a year-long co-op or internship position. And that we encourage that, even though that delays your graduation, I think that experience really gets you head and shoulder above most other competition that might be seeking that position. And we have ITP 400, which is special problems. So if you want to engage, there's no other course that you want, but you want to create some specific project that is something that you desire to look into, we can do that as well. And then commercialization of new technologies. This is more of an entrepreneurial, course where what does it take to bring a product package system or any technology to market. Next, please. So this is a suggested flow chart. What's missing here are all the general education courses, etc. So what you'll see is as you get from freshman to senior year, your courses, yellows are BS ITP. These are required for all ITP students, and packaging technology concentration courses are highlighted in pink. So as you get to senior level, you are required to take more and more courses in ITP or packaging. And where if you have designed your curriculum well, most of your credit from Cuesta will be, your units will be transferred over. And what you're probably engaged more in right now are general education courses. So comparing that to our current students, what you have is you're taking care of all the GE courses, right? So you are ahead in that sense from a Cal Poly student, because Cal Poly students, like in a freshman year, a Cal Poly student in our program would take these 3 courses, one each in fall, winter, and spring. You guys don't have that option at Cuesta, but hopefully you're filling that with something that can be transferred over. So this can allow you to graduate in 2.5 years. If you come in as a junior, you will not have to, if you planned it well, you will not be taking on as many GE courses. You can dive in directly into getting to learn more about ITP and packaging. So this is basically is what we suggest to our students. And if you are a transfer student coming in at junior level, you are able to match up with those freshmen that came into Cal Poly. And again, we do encourage internships. So if you have to delay, when I said 2.5 years, I was including the internship or co-op positions that you could potentially take. And we strongly encourage that. And we do provide a lot of avenues for you to seek those out. And so let's move on from here, unless you have a question. All right, Irene. All right, let's get into the fun part. So once you have done your homework here, your academic career is at an end. What can you look out for? What is available for someone with a packaging background? Packaging industry is the 3rd largest in the world. Think about it. When was the last time you consumed or had a product that did not come in a package? I'm still searching for an answer, and I'm not talking about a kitchen garden where you pluck a tomato and consume it. If you are thinking about something that has been produced or manufactured or grown and harvested, and then it moves through a supply chain to end up at a retail store near you, it has packaging, right? So it's a $1 trillion industry. There are 3.4 trillion items packed globally in 2016. I could not find the latest number. And it is always so, even in downturns. So COVID is a good example, or the housing bust or the IT bubble bust. Yes, the economy went down a little bit, or maybe a lot, but people didn't stop consuming, right? You do have, maybe they didn't buy the luxury items, but they had to eat. They had to buy stuff for their daily needs. So in that sense, the economic downturns do not impact packaging as much. Matter of fact, packaging positions actually are, they grow in numbers because specialists are needed. Most of the packaging positions are filled by people not with a packaging background. So in those tough times, the companies actually seek out specialists, people who have a packaging degree. And what kind of industry, what kind of career you can have? You can be in production. You can be involved in, in manufacturing. You could be on the line where they're producing and packaging food items. You could be taking care of the larger supply chain issues with your product package systems. You could be in engineering. This would be more of an emphasis of science and technology. So you could be in the in materials. You could be in procurement. You could be in the design realm. You could be in the distribution aspect of things. Everything has to be distributed. You could go into sales and marketing. This is depending on which company you go work for. Sales is typically the most lucrative because there's commission associated with it. And you don't sell a few hundred packages, right? You sell millions, because that's the kind of demand there is for packaging. So in here, you need to have an understanding of what is innovative. Why should we just keep packaging it the same way? Should we look at what's new, what could excite a customer to become a loyal brand follower? You need to understand what a consumer thinks, how they think. You could go into legal, supportive services. You could be in management and leadership. So the good thing about our program, being in business, you will be taking some business courses. You will not take enough business courses to qualify as a business grad, but you will have enough of an exposure. So that allows you to transition over to management side relatively easier. By job functions, here's a list on the right side. You could be in engineering, marketing, sales, production. You could also just be a dedicated structural designer. This is a pretty unique position where everything, if you think of it, whether it's a can or a bottle or a box or a film, you have to design it structurally. You need to have a 3D visual of what you are trying to produce. Once that's been proved, you go into production. So everything needs to be designed, procurement, supply chain, to name a few others. Most packaging positions are commonly referred to as packaging engineers. Even though there's a couple of programs in the country that are in an engineering school, most programs are not. And the most popular designation for a packaging person in a workforce is packaging engineer. Next, please. All right, salaries. We looked up some national databases according to pay scale. These are entry level. So according to pay scale, 62,000, slightly over 62,000 is the starting salary. According to salary.com, almost 65,000. That's national. What our average salary is 73,000. And then if you get a master's, you can get another 20 to 25% on top of that. So that is a pretty good, our starting salaries are the envy of not only the college, but the campus. Our undergrads are being sought out very heavily. We've had students go at, get an offer at 140,000, 115. Apple hired 7 or 8 of our students within a 2-year period, all at $100,000 salary package. So salaries are pretty good, but don't let salaries be the only deciding factor. Yes, it is essential to make good money so you can live well. But so you don't have to worry about that, is what I'm trying to get at here. When you're doing an internship, all our positions, our internships are paid. The companies that come to recruit from us, they pay $20 to $30. Some of them also pay a housing stipend and relocation, not all of them. But it's a great experience. You actually put the theory that you learn here, and actually, a lot more that we do not offer here, to practice. And you get your feet wet and go and work in an environment that actually is real. So next, please. And by job function, this is from a survey that the largest network of packaging professionals created. This is the Institute of Packaging Professionals. These are not numbers of entry level. This is from the survey just to show you most of the respondents to the survey were beginning to mid career level. And these are the salaries you can expect to make based on various areas. So you could be in consulting, make about 129,000, maybe 10, 15 years down the road. Corporate management, 167,000. In engineering, 107. Marketing and sales, 128. So these vary depending on what line of work you want to get involved in. And again, not everybody's cut out for every kind of position. Not everybody's a salesman, right? I'm not a salesman. I would not do a real good job selling packaging, but I can, behind the scenes, I'm good at R&D. I can strategize a little bit. So whatever your strength is, that's what we want you to explore once you get here. So take your junior year to explore. Senior year, you can kind of, create your custom tool, build something through the electives that you select. Next, please. These are some select companies that we have highlighted here and the positions that they hire packaging employees at. And you'll see the most common one is packaging engineer. So Lab 126 is the private label brand company for Amazon. So their Kindle division, for example, they are all the electronic or digital products that they make are handled by a company called Lab 126, which is a part of Amazon. They hire packaging engineers. Apple has several designations listed here, from logistics to supply chain to product development, technical program. So depending on which department within Apple you go work for in packaging, you could be on any of these 6 teams. Then you have Novartis, Williams-Sonoma, Amgen. Amgen is a pharma company out of pharma medical device out of Thousand Oaks. Google, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lancemont is a equipment manufacturer, Boston Scientific, Illumina. So we picked certain kinds of companies that provide you a diversity of opportunities out there. Just gives you a landscape of what's out there. Next, please. All right, so within packaging, you would think packaging is very narrow. There should not be specializations within, but we have, our team, which is listed in the middle of this, the middle column. These are the 6 faculty members for packaging in this program, and we all have our specializations. So Dr. Javier de la Fuente and Irene, who's here, they are focused on design and healthcare. Dr. Saha and I are in fundamentals of packaging and distribution. And we have 2 chemists, Dr. Katuri and Dr. Shin. They work with materials and sustainability. And we have a list of courses that I've highlighted in the previous slides. These are our, we own these courses. We teach these courses individually or in conjunction with each other. Next, please. So next, what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about what those 3 focus areas provide. And I'll let Irene take it away with the design and healthcare specialization or focus.
Okay, so I'm part of the team that focuses on the design classes and the healthcare class here in the program. We have multiple courses that focus on design and one course that focuses on healthcare packaging. And the reason for having a specific course on healthcare packaging is because the products that are packed in the industry, this being medical device and pharmaceuticals, have very specific requirements, right? So usually if you apply for a job or an internship in the healthcare industry, even if it's a packaging job, it requires for you to know some specifics about the products that are going to be packed that do not apply to any other product in the industry. So for example, when we talk about sterilization methods, those sterilization methods will require certain characteristics from the packaging materials that we're going to be using to pack the products or the packaging formats. And that's quite specific to this industry. Also, the specific testing that is performed on those packages and the standards that are associated to this industry. So all of that is very specific. They also require for packaging engineers to be familiar with statistics, since they usually integrate a lot of statistics in their testing. So this course basically prepares the students to apply to internships in the healthcare industry and also to apply for jobs in the healthcare industry. And as far as the design courses, we have 3 courses that focus on packaging design. There is the 200 level course, 234, and 400 level courses that also focus heavily on design. The 200 level course, as Jay mentioned before, started 3 years ago. And we incorporated this course into the curriculum because we needed basic design skills from our students in order for them to make the most in other courses, in order for them to be able to work in projects that require certain skills in design, but that are focused on whatever that other course or topic is. In this course, we basically teach the basic understanding on how to create form and how to create graphics for packaging and how to integrate that form or structure with the graphics. As part of this teaching, we have labs in which we expose students to the CAD programs that usually are used in packaging design. So there are programs that are used specifically for die cutting. So for example, to create boxes, paperboard, corrugated boxes. There are other CAD programs that are used to create 3D designs. So you would use it to shape bottles or to shape trays, plastic parts, glass parts, etc. And we also expose students to graphic design tools or rendering tools, right? Tools that enable us to create high resolution images, very realistic high resolution images of our packages on a screen. This has been very valuable for us in an online virtual teaching environment, since we have not had access to our labs and our prototyping equipment. In our 400 level courses, we have 408. This course specifically focused on design for fiber-based materials. More specifically, we focus on design for die cutting. So design for paperboard or corrugated board structures. There is a project as part of this course in which students work as part of the teams and design entries for national competitions. Depending on the quarter this class is offered, the project focuses either on paperboard design or corrugated board design. And I will show you some of the projects that our students have done throughout the years in this course. And in the 485 course, our capstone design course, this course, basically, as Jay mentioned before, the idea is that the students bring all the knowledge that they have from all the courses into this final course. And there is a big project that is developed in our lab sessions, and where students come up with a packaging system design solution for a specific opportunity or specific challenge there is in the market. Again, we use national competitions in order to submit the entries, the projects of our students as entries. And I also have some examples that I will show you later on. Compared to 408 and 485, our students can use any material, any converting process, any type of design for our projects, right? It's not only focused on die cutting design. So in order to show you better, to illustrate better what the work of our students looks like, what they create as part of their classes in their program, I'm going to show you the entries that have received awards over the past years. And we're really happy because our students have really excelled in these competitions. We usually compete in three national competitions and an international competition, design competition every year. And those are the competitions that we usually participate in. 2 of them are die cutting related, paperboard or corrugated. And the Ameristar Student Design Competition is open to any substrate, material, package form. And then the World Star Student Design Competition is an international competition. As you can see, over the years, students from our program have really excelled. We have been very happy to have students receive awards constantly on each of these competitions. And here with some examples, so you actually see what our students create during the projects, during these courses. These first 2 examples that I will present, this one and the next one, were created during the spring quarter of 2020, which means that we were already in a virtual environment. So our students did not have access to the labs. What you will see is that the images that you're seeing are renders. They're high resolution images. Students were not able to create physical prototypes. When we're teaching these courses face-to-face, they are able to actually produce a sample of their design, and we perform a photo shoot session so that they're able to create really a good portfolio piece, right, in order to be able to use it to access good internships and also good jobs. In this case, since we didn't have access to the prototyping equipment, all the project, the final deliverables of the project are all renders, high resolution images. This team specifically during spring quarter last year worked on designing a packaging system for face masks. Well, we just started with this COVID situation, so face masks were obviously important at that time, but something very new for everyone. So they did their research, identified opportunities in the packaging systems that were available a year ago, and came up with this design that is fully made out of paperboard, and that has a wallet style design to hold an individual face mask, and then a package dispenser that can be placed in 2 different orientations. What they identified is the opportunity to be able to dispense each individual face mask individually, so you can sell it at a retail store, just 1 mask at a time, or you could buy the entire package and display it in a horizontal orientation and have it in a home environment. We were multiple members need masks, and you can leave it at an entry in a household. This was also very useful for locations such as, a doctor's office or a working environment where you might want to offer face masks, have them available in case someone forgets them. This other group also last spring quarter also focused on protective gear, but in this case, they looked at N95 respirators. What this team identified was the opportunity to design a packaging system for an N95 respirator that was more sustainable, and also that doubled as a carrying case or a storage location for their respirator. They also identified an emerging technology that could be incorporated into materials such as fiber-based materials. In this case, the design is a molded pulp tray. And these were silver nanoparticles that were able to kill viruses and bacteria, and therefore would be interesting in case of using it as a storing case. Both teams were recognized at the national level in the AmeriStar competition, and this team placed in the top 13 in the International World Star competition. So that's a very high recognition, 13 at a world level. Again, these are renders, and the program that we'll be using to create these renders is KeyShot. It is part of the software that we offer our students. The next examples are examples of projects that were designed when we were having face-to-face interactions, so our students were able to create actual physical models, prototypes in our labs. In this case, this team designed a packaging system for disposable syringes. They identified the need to create a packaging system that could contain the syringes before they were used, that could be left on a countertop, and that also created this space while the product was being used in order to dispose of the syringes. Once all the syringes are used and the used syringes are disposed of on the top of the package, there is a separation between the bottom compartment and the top. The box or the container can be closed and then shipped back in order for a proper disposal of the syringes, since this is something that is usually traveling in households that commonly use syringes on a daily basis. In this other project, the team had the challenge to design a paperboard packaging system for a Nintendo Switch gaming console. And they had to design a package in which the package became part of the game, where the consumer would interact with the package as they played the game. This team had the idea of converting the package into a projector, right? So they were able to project the game on a screen, on a wall, and they provided this option of playing the game in a different way. There was a game board that is also provided with this packaging system, and it gave the user the possibility of either playing the game directly on the Nintendo Switch or using this projector setting in order to play the game in a different way. They won first place in the national paperboard competition. This team also had a prompt in which they had to use only paperboard in order to design a packaging system. But in this case, the challenge was to design a packaging system for a subscription box for on-the-go snacks. The team focused on designing a specific tray that would have a specific shape that would hold an amount of snacks that would be suited for a daily snack dose. And they decided that a gravity-fed dispenser that was able to very compactly ship via parcel delivery, and once at the consumer's home, open into a new configuration that really had nice aesthetics to be left on a countertop in a kitchen, and was functional and convenient by dispensing the daily dose of snacks. This team here designed a packaging system for butter. They identified the need of creating a butter packaging system in which the individual serving or portions were already divided. And they also decided to try and design a packaging system that was more sustainable. So they identified this opportunity and came up with a packaging system that involves two molded pulp trays that have peelable paper-based lids that have individual servings for butter. We also designed a sleeve that enabled for the product to be presented at a retail store, both on a horizontal flat orientation and a vertical orientation. This other team here designed a new system for tea products. So they identified the opportunity of coming up with an individual tea serving that was different from a tea bag. Even, there are many shapes for tea bags or multiple shapes for tea bags, but they wanted to go beyond the tea bag. And they identified this material that is not broadly used in packaging applications, but is popular in certain areas, just cassava. And they designed these sticks, these cassava sticks, that would hold the tea inside. Not only would they function similarly to a tea bag, but also they would enable the user to steer the tea. So it removes the need of using a separate tool such as a spoon in order to steer the sugar or any other component that's added to the tea. Another example of a team, in this case, probably an example that's different from the others because it is a design that is for a plastic container. I don't think we had seen one before fully plastic. This team designed a packaging system for surf wax. So the team identified certain opportunities in the surf wax market. Most of the surf wax comes in a plastic film, wrapped in a plastic film, and maybe inside a paperboard box. So the team identified, an opportunity to design a packaging system that provided more functionality, right? Was more useful. One of the main problems with surf wax is that it melts. It usually tends to melt in the car if the car is, during a sunny day. So they designed a packaging system that would hold the wax even if the wax melted, and then was able to re-solidify inside of the container. And they also designed it in a way where it is very convenient and easy to spread the wax even when there's little wax left. They also added a comb on the cap, which enables surfers to scrap the surf wax from the surfboard before applying a new layer. This is the last project that I'm going to show, and it is a project for a packaging system for avocado oil. So this team identified the opportunity of creating a packaging system that had strong shelf impact for avocado oil, right? And I don't know if you've gone to the retail store and looked at the oil section, cooking oil aisle. Most of the packaging systems are very similar. So you have a glass bottle or a plastic bottle, and that's basically it. That there's not much from a structural standpoint as far as different designs or different materials. So this team explored the possibility of designing with new materials or different materials that are not common in this category, and also creating a very strong shelf impact. So they designed this system in which we have two halves that are made out of molded pulp, and there is a bag inside of the of this molded pulp case. The shape of these two halves, once placed together, resembles the shape of an avocado oil, and the texture of the molded pulp, being rough, also simulates the rough texture on the skin, the outside of an avocado. Also, the graphics were designed in order to play into this local organic feel that the materials, the choice of materials of the product and the brand we're basically selling. And as you can see, all our packages have both the structural side and the graphic side. So what we do is in packaging, in this project, we collaborate usually with our professor and a course or multiple courses in the art and design department. So these teams of students are multidisciplinary teams that have both packaging students, packaging technology students, and graphic designers, right? And these students work together from day one in order to create this packaging systems, right? So the graphics are not an afterthought. They're not something that happened after the structure has been created. These teams work together from the beginning of the quarter. Okay, and that's all I had. I'll back to you, Jay.
Thanks, Irene. So you can see, it's not just a boring box or a boring container. You can make it exciting, and that's what really sells, right? You think about your experience when you went shopping. It's what catches your eye. It's what stands out. It's what you start believing in a brand, or have loyalty. So I'm going to talk very briefly about the other two areas of focus that we have. So Dr. Saha and I are in this focus area, fundamentals of packaging and distribution. So next slide, please. So let's talk about distribution. So distribution is not the, Amazon calls it romance packaging. Romance packaging is what you look at and you fall in love with, or it influences your purchase decision. Distribution packaging is the other type of packaging, which makes sure that romance packaging reaches you at a brick and mortar, or at your doorstep if you're doing e-commerce, in the way and shape that it's intended to. It brings your product in, and then it is not only doing its job. It should not be dead when it reaches you and goes, here's your product. It should still wow you. So that's what we teach in this course. We call it, this is the ITP 475 distribution packaging course. And what we do here is we develop fit for purpose packaging. And what is the purpose depends on different application, different product types, or different philosophies a company may have. So what you see on the screen here is a project that we give to our students. Imagine if I asked you today to take a wine bottle and 4 stemmed wine glasses, pack them up in as little material as possible, and ship it across from the West Coast to the East Coast through FedEx. And not only do everything needs to be survive, the stem glasses as well as the wine bottle, not only do they have to survive, but at the other end, the receiver should be able to pull this out of the box, and it should have a display, should be functional. So here's some examples of student work. And Irene mentioned some design. So the design aspect in this is more structural. It's developing a design to use as little material as possible, making it functional. And by the way, it needs to go through all the hardship in distribution, whether it's a FedEx package or it's a pallet load, your local Target store ordered from somewhere. So what we need to think about here is materials. We need to think about how it's going to move, the logistics, what kind of protection will it need? Is it easy to grip, easy to put on a pallet? Is it sustainable? Are you using a material that can be recycled? Are you using just the right amount and not over packaging it? What are the efficiencies? And this should be throughput. How quickly is all this happening? And at the end of the day, what are the cost savings? So we develop a prototype, and then we put it to a battery of tests that simulate what happens to a package on the road. So the next slide, please. So what you see on the top here are some of the pieces of equipment that we have in our lab that we have our students use towards validating their prototype. So they have one actual wine bottle, we fill it with water, and they have 4 stemmed wine glasses. They put it together. Yes, it may look okay on a desk, but now it has to move. When it's on the move, it's going to vibrate on a truck or a conveyor belt. It'll be compressed. It might be under a stack of other packages. It might get dropped. It might get a shock. So we have these pieces of equipment that allow you to simulate what it's going to be moving through, what kind of environment it's going to be, physical abuse environment it's going to see. And on the bottom, you see how we also pay attention to designing the outer ship or the box, the corrugated box. It's not just a box, it's a value proposition. So, how does that work on its own? Does it contain just the right amount of products? And then how does it work on a pallet load? How does that pallet fit into a truck trailer or a container that's going overseas or coming from overseas? So all of those aspects are paid attention to in here. Next, please. And the last focus area, I'll go through this very quickly, is materials and sustainability. So this is where my colleagues who are better chemists than I am, but my way better chemists than I am, participate. And next slide, please. So, Irene mentioned some of the competitions she and Dr. De La Fuente mentor our students towards. We have from our packaging, polymer plastics, polymer packaging class, we have a flexible packaging association competition. And here's an example of premium dipping sauce. They created, most of it is in plastic, and then they have the paperboard sleeves wrapping it. And they won first place this past year in the competition. We have a notoriety in this particular competition where we not only take the first few spots, we take quite a few of the top spots. Next, please. Dr. Shin teaches the packaging sustainability course, and I was mentioning quantifying sustainability. This is what it looks like. These are the results of a life cycle assessment. So what Dr. Shin provides students is he gives them we call them product package system. So it's a system. It's not just a product wrapped in a package. It's a system because that's how it performs throughout its life cycle. So what you see here in the bar chart is, what was the water consumption? What are the human impacts, eutrophication, mineral consumption? So these are subcategories of quantifying sustainability. And what you can do with this tool is, if you want to change a package, you can, before you actually take that decision, you can look at the sustainability of both. If your goal is to be more sustainable, this is a great tool that provides you visual, quantifiable data that you can then make your determination on which way to go. So life cycle assessment is taught in the packaging sustainability course. Next, please. Within that course, Dr. Shin also has students make, he gives some materials that he then has them test for biodegradability. Compostability, biodegradability, recyclability, these are not terms that you can throw on a package without getting them certified and validated against a standard that has been, these are national standards, sometimes international standards that require third-party labs to verify or validate the claim of biodegradability. So Dr. Shin here in the pictures, you can see various stages of material. What you see on the left is soil. It's simulating what could be in a typical compost heap. And then he places different materials in there, and over time he sees how they degrade or biodegrade. Next, please. And in Dr. Katuria, our other chemist class, this is a higher level plastics course where you have all these equipment that is shown on the top. Without getting into details, you can identify what's in the material. So plastics is not just plastic. There's a lot of other additives that are in there and other material that are in there. So you can identify when they say it is, PET is a beverage container. Your water or carbonated soda bottles, they are made out of PET. But it's not just PET. It's not just polyethylene terephthalate, the #1 recycle symbol. It has a lot of other things in it. So you need to identify what's in it. You also need to see how, if you have coffee in a plastic bag, for example, coffee loves oxygen. But when it gets oxygen, it changes color, it changes texture, it changes flavor. So if you want to maintain a shelf life for a certain duration, you have to make sure you're picking the right material. So permeability, it plays a key role. You can test at a lab level in a lab. What is the transmission rate of oxygen or water vapor or whatever it is you're trying to test for, and that gives you a much more validated solution for whatever it is you're trying to use it towards. Next, please. Here is a lab activity. Bananas are notorious for going brown, right? And that's because they respire. Their respiration is pretty high, and that's why they discolor. So what you see here is students working with different types of films, wrapping bananas in it. Bananas are a pretty challenging product to work with. Gives us a great product to use towards, not that the bananas will be packaged like this, but it gives us a great product to have the students work with to see what film works best for this particular type of product. And this theory goes over to any food product that you can think of. Everything has to have what we call a modified atmospheric packaging or atmosphere packaging. So imagine if when you open your bottle, take a sip, and when you close it back, what you have captured in the headspace is the air that was around it at the time you closed it. That's going to have oxygen. They'll have various gases in there. They'll have various things in there that will maybe not in the best way interact with the product. So what modified atmosphere packaging is, you flush that air out and you put in a gas, typically nitrogen or something else, inert gas, that does not allow the product to degrade as quickly. So we do some experimentation like that here, as shown here. Next, please. This is vacuum sealing. You may have, you definitely have bought products that were vacuum packed, and the main reason for vacuum packing is to get rid of the atmosphere within the around the product within the package. And so we run some. This is nitrogen flushing. So you are not only vacating the air from the bag, but you're also, if needed, flushing it with nitrogen. And that allows you to maintain and increase the shelf life. Next, please. Oh, there's a video there. All right, thank you for your attention. We are excited that you're considering industrial technology and packaging and a packaging concentration. We are here if you have any questions right now for any one of us. Amy or Mark?
Thank you. I do have a question.
Sure.
So as of right now at Cuesta, I'm majoring in just a general business administration degree. So when I apply for Cal Poly in about a year, will I apply as a business administration major with a concentration in like IT and packaging?
No, you will have to come in. So we have, if you want to come into the business college, you will have to pick either business or ITP or econ, right, Kaushik?
Yeah, so College of Business has three majors. You have business major, BS in business administration, BS in industrial technology packaging, and BS in economics. Within business, within BS business administration, there are several concentrations. One of the concentration is consumer packaging, about which we did not talk about. What we talked about today was about BS industrial technology and packaging, and specifically we talked about packaging concentration. So if you're interested in ITP with packaging, then you would have to apply to the Bachelor's of Science program in Industrial Technology and Packaging, not business.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll need to apply for a specific concentration or major within the college.
Jake, concentration you apply after
right.
Yeah. So what you first get accepted into the degree program, either business, ITP, or econ. But once you arrive here for transfer students, you will have to declare concentration soon after. But yeah.
And would you say that ITP is more or less impacted than a business administration degree?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow your question.
Impacted as in how, Jamie? Could you expand on that?
Like, would you say more people apply with a business degree or more people apply with a ITP?
In terms of transfers,
Yes.
I would think it would be more business just because the sheer volumes, the sheer size of the program. Business is our biggest major.
Mhm.
So I don't have the hard numbers, but I can almost say with certainty there's more transfer students trying to get into business than ITP.
Okay.
We typically admit what is about 10 to 15 transfer students a year, Kaushik?
Which includes change of, no, it doesn't include change of major. You're talking about ITP, transfers into ITP?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, about 10 students over an academic year, we have transfers, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ideally, what do you want to see the students coming from Cuesta with to get into your
Into ITP? Well, what we really like, Mark, is the passion. Most of the best transfer students we've had, some of them, beat out our freshmen coming into ITP in the passion, and that's what we love about transfer students is they come in not, you've done the hard work, you have, taken care of all the general education, you found your vocation and you're applying into the program. So the best thing we look for is a passion. Now going to something more quantifiable, what we would love for you to come in with is as many GE, as many non-ITP courses as you can before you come in. So you need to keep an eye out and work with your counselor on the courses you're taking. They should be meaningful in terms of shortening your time in getting up to speed and finishing a degree.
So Jay, I can say a little bit here. So with regards to courses, when you're meeting your GE courses requirement for Cal Poly, make sure you have your chemistries done, your physics done. If those are courses which you are taking, if you're not taking as part of your GE courses and you're interested in ITP, then get the chemistries and physics out of your way so that you're not required to take these courses in Cal Poly, even though you would have met the GE requirement through other courses. But if you're getting into ITP, get your chem and physics out of the way.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, Mark or Jamie?
I don't have any more, but thank you.
Okay, excellent. So you can, I don't know if you noted my email address, but you can look us up. Just go to College of Business, Cal Poly, look at the packaging faculty. If you have any questions for any one of us that are here, or
I'm putting my email in the chat room.
We would be happy to provide more input later.
I really loved the presentation. I thought it was great. Everything that you guys are doing there, it's really, really fascinating.
We appreciate it, Mark. We work hard, and all of us are very passionate about packaging. You can tell we could go on and on for days talking about packaging. So the entire team is very, very passionate about packaging, and we don't like to stand still. We are always evolving our curriculum. For that matter, there's very few textbooks that we recommend or require. We recommend some. All of us are researching, all of us are engaged with the industry, so our curriculum is very dynamic.
Awesome.
A course you take today and you come back a year later, it'll have changed slightly. There might be an additional activity or another discussion topic that we throw in there.
So do you have refresher courses?
Refresher courses, what do you mean by that, Mark?
After you've been away for a long period of time, where you can come back and kind of go over some of the new advances that have been.
No, we don't.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's, you know, it's like, you know, I don't know if you have siblings, Mark, but, you know, the older kid never gets, you know, the younger kid because for whatever reasons they get more, right? They get different. So you can't expect the older kid to go back to the parents and say, now give me all that I missed out on, right?
Right.
That's how it is. You know, things evolve. You're always welcome to come back and have a chat with the instructors, but we don't offer refresher courses.
Okay. I didn't figure it would hurt to ask.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
welcome. All right, you guys have a great night. It's almost night, so
So Jay,